Hello everyone, welcome to today's video, and today we have the G.I. Joe Classified series, the retro carded from Hasbro, the Duke and Scarlett, and I have the Cobra Commander. It's not from the same wave, this is the newest wave, or no, that's actually the newest wave. I think this was the wave before, so actually I don't even know if they go by waves, because these are the only three on the back, and I don't have Recondo, but yeah. Life's good, man. I just took the fattest shit. Everything's awesome right now. I mean, there's some things going wrong in life, but that happens. But I mean, get good toys, have nice people in my life, people I love, you know. And I hope you all have the same. I hope you all get to have some fun. And yeah, we'll just look up what the read up on the back. This is like their file card type thing, and it says Ohana, Shauna M, or Shanna, however you want to pronounce it. And then her role is a counterintelligence, primary specialty is intelligence, secondary specialty is classified, and her birthplace is Atlanta, Georgia. And it says martial arts expert who started practicing at age 9. Scarlett graduated summa cum laude, so cum laude, from 2 Ivy League universities and went on to excel in training courses at all 4 branches of the armed forces. So that's her read up. And then Duke, it says Hauser Conrad S. So his name's Conrad Hauser, or Hoser, I don't know how you want to pronounce that. His role is first sergeant, primary specialty is airborne infantryman, his secondary specialty is artillery, his other specials for the secondary are small arms and armor. His birthplace was St. Louis, Missouri. Graduated top of his class at Airborne School after running 4 different Special Forces schools. He turned down a commission to instead serve as acting first sergeant of G.I. Joe. So, I like when they do that. I mean, I know I completely messed up that reading, but y'all can live with it, right? You can live with my ADHD brain. So, we'll get these guys opened, this guy and this girl open, and we'll take a look at them. Okay, and I got them both out of their plastic prisons, and they were honestly a bitch and a half to get out. The figures themselves weren't too bad, but all of the plethora of accessories were very, very annoying to get out. So, just be mindful of that, I guess. And yeah, these guys are awesome. These are really nice looking figures. These are probably the best classified figures I own. This is the only female classified figure I own for now. And, you know, I like Duke. Duke is one of the few G.I. Joe characters I recognize because, I mean, he's in the cartoon and he was also in the very bad live-action movies, but I liked Channing Tatum's portrayal of him in the bad live-action movies, so that's something. I don't remember if Scarlett was in the movie. I think she was. I think she was one of the main characters in the movie. But that's really not too deep in my mind. Same way with, like, Michael Bay's Transformers. Yeah, I watched them growing up, but I don't prefer those portrayals over the 80s cartoons and, like, the comic books and stuff. I will be honest, I know a lot about Marvel and DC. This is not a franchise I know a lot about. I've watched the cartoon, I've seen a few of the comic books, and I've watched the live-action movies, but besides that, you know, the toys just look cool. And obviously, I know Snake Eyes, I know Storm Shadow. Storm Shadow's my favorite. You know, I know Timber, I know Scarlett, I know Roadblock, I know Duke, you know, I know Destro, I know Cobra Commander. But besides that, like, the other characters are kind of just fodder figures to have. Like, you can use them pretty cool customs. And then, like, army builders for guys. Like, I could use all of the Bats, you know, the Cobra, like, officers and stuff. Can really just be Marvel bad guys if you want them to be, or DC bad guys, or really whatever bad guy. You know, Deadpool can take them on, whoever. So, that's kind of where I originally started, but I've been getting deeper into this line, especially I watch a lot of Fwoosh, you know, well, old Fwoosh videos. Now he's Robo, don't know. But I watched a lot of his, you know, G.I. Joe figures. He's kind of the reason I got into these. So, yeah. I mean, I care enough to buy the Mezco Roadblock, so, you know, obviously I have some investment in this now. So, but once I have Cobra Commander, which he'll be coming in later today, There's kind of only a few more I need. Like, I don't really have a big draw for, like, the storylines and stuff. I just wanted the main characters, and then the rest I'm gonna just get fodder figures. Like, the guy with the warthog and the monkey. I can use that as, like, a backup for a Craven, you know? The guy with, like, the wings, I could use him as, like, a vulture, like a, you know, lackey. And then Quick Kick I want to get so I can make a Shang-Chi out of him. I saw people making a custom, you know, classic Marvel girl, Jean Grey, out of this, and that's a pretty good idea. I might, you know, maybe, you just kind of remove all the straps, and she's honestly mostly there, and get rid of the red. But yeah, so these figures are awesome, and they're great for fodder, and they're really great if you want a shit ton of, you know, weapon accessories. They're not great for hand accessories, honestly, but weapon accessories, they go really ham with those, so that's cool. So yeah, we're going to take a look at the character I was probably least excited for. Mostly because, you know, it's a guy figure, and there's a lot of reuse between the guy figures. I mean, the female figures too. I don't have any female figures, so I was excited to take a look at this and see how well, you know, Hasbro does with female G.I. Joes, because I know they don't do very well with female Marvel characters. They're doing better now, but they still fumble, so... And I honestly think this guy looks really cool. You know, you got the American flag there. You got the long sleeve shirt. There's his, like, patch. He got a grenade on his bandolier, and you can take that bandolier off if you want a cleaner look. You know, you got the holster there. Random pouches. Very military, and I like that. I mean, this is a military line, so... you got the holster down there on the boot, and that's actually a separate piece, so if you wanted to, could remove that. You'd have to heat the leg up and pop the shin off and stuff, but... you can do that if you wanted to. This guy is pretty cool. I honestly like him. I do wish they'd start including more alternate heads, because it would be nice to have, you know, an angry head sculpt for these guys. I mean, the Stern is cool, and I'd probably use Stern mostly on the shelf, but action shots and stuff like that, you know, these are military guys. If anyone should have angry head sculpts, it should be these guys, you know, or at least, like, you know, tense, clenched faces running into battle, covering gunfire, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, besides that, I think this guy's really cool, and the articulation, from what I can tell, is not too bad. You know, you can look up pretty far. You got pretty good arm, you know, butterfly. You got that. Double jointed elbows, and these are pinless. These are newer ones, so these are pinless. That's a little stuck, but it is double jointed. There you go. You got an up and down hinge on the... well, this one's in and out, but this one's up and down. So... that's cool. I think that's up and down, right? It's just a little stuck. Yeah, it's up and down. You got the ball joint down on the waist. It doesn't get a lot. That's somewhere they can improve. It's more back than forward, which I don't know why. Action figures do that a lot. Kick forward, you know, you can honestly kick all the way around, so that's cool. Kick out, you know, you got the drop down hip for that. That's why you can do all that. You know, thigh swivel, double jointed, pinless knees, so... yeah, people like to say, there's a lot of people that are naysayers to pinless, and honestly, I can take it or leave it, but it does help with sturdiness, and it does help it look better. I don't think it's a scam like people like to say. Like, I think it does help the sturdiness, and it does help them look better. I don't mind them on some figures, but like on a Spider-Man, it doesn't look nice. So, you know, there's certain applications. And for this foot, it still goes all the way back, so I'm sure this one will do the same, yeah. So there's no hindrance there. It can go somewhat forward. I think this one probably goes more forward. Yeah, that one goes more forward. So you're going to have hindrance in the front, but that's okay. You got a, you know, shin swivel, and then you got the rocker. So for accessories, this guy has some pretty cool stuff. He's got... his backpack, and this is where the Mezco, I think, is going to come in better, because the shovel on the Mezco is actually... sorry, had to get my cat. And as I was saying, the shovel on the Mezco is going to be removable, and I think the canteens will too. Well, I think there's probably only one canteen, but this is cool for what it is. You just plug it in the back. You know, that bandolier's also got a hole in it, so you can do it through the bandolier, so it doesn't move. And yeah, it looks a little Fortnite-y, you know, backpack Fortnite-y. But it's not too bad. I mean, I'm not going to have this on him probably ever. That'll probably be something that I do with the Mezco. But once I get the Mezco, this might be just regulated to a random soldier. Or you could honestly do a pretty cool Steve Rogers if you wanted to. So that's pretty dope. And then you get, for other gear, you get like this helmet that you can use. So that's pretty cool. He can match Roadblock because the Mezco Roadblock comes with a pretty cool helmet. Doesn't want to go on very well. Okay, you just got to push it down a little bit. But this is more like a fighter pilot helmet. I more view fighter pilot helmets to have like the goggle look more than the visor look, but this works. It hinges up and everything. I don't think I'll ever have this on him because the face just looks so good and I don't want to cover up that nice face sculpt. And then he has some binoculars you can just put there. They're a little bit, they like to stick out, so that's probably not something I'm going to do often. Honestly, might even just cut that just to have binoculars. And then, you could, if you wanted to put just like a piece of string or something. And then he comes with a couple guns. This looks like something that they would use in World War II. I don't know gun models very well. I know that I think this is an SMG, so I know this is a fold-out stock, so you can give me some credit for that, I guess. And then he comes with a rifle, and that looks pretty nice. It's this one's all molded in one color, so looks a little toyish, but this one at least has like the black stock on there, which is nice. So I think this is an infantry rifle, so he's an infantry soldier, so that works. And then you notice he has holsters. He gets a knife for a holster, which that knife looks really nice, and you can just slide that down there. It is a very bendy knife, so you won't break it. And then you get a side arm, so that's just a little pistol that you can plug in there. And G.I. Joes come with so many different weapons, I think you could probably swap out whatever pistol you want to put in there. And then you get a pair of fists, which that's cool. But I kind of wish you get, like, smaller gripping hands at least, too, for the knives and stuff. Because that's something that G.I. Joe struggles with. Sorry, I dropped the accessory. They struggle with holding stuff that aren't necessarily weapons, like guns. Like, I have to swap out for some Marvel Legends white hands for my Storm Shadow to actually hold a sword. So that's an issue. But besides that, they're pretty good at it. And then you get this stand, you got the Joe symbol on there. They got peg holes in both their feet. There's 2 peg holes on here. So if you wanted to, you could plug them in. Get them stood up on it. I think he's going in, is he? No. It's hard to do this while looking like through the camera, and kind of hard doing it when you're not looking at the camera because you have the camera in your face. So, that keeps them from falling. We'll just keep them on there for now, I guess. And then next we have Scarlett. Now, this one I was more excited for. I mean, the most one I'm excited for is Cobra Commander. I don't have him yet. But out of these two, Scarlett was what I was really excited for. I love Scarlett. I think she's awesome, and the character design's really cool. Probably because she reminds me of an X-Men uniform. And I just was kind of excited to get a female figure from this line because I haven't had one yet. And this is new, so I can see all the new technology and see how it's improved, if it's any good. So, yeah. So, first, what we're going to do is she has 2 swappable, hair pieces. And we're just going to put that in. They are kind of, I'd be scared of, the peg is stressing when you do that. So, honestly, I'd recommend you pull it in it when you're doing that. Like, pull it out and rearrange it. But we'll just go for the downed one right now. But yeah, she looks really cool. And I like it. You got, like, the Go... No, is that even the Joe Pro? No, that's a little, like, flash grenade. Got, like, a little zipper type thing right there. Zipper right there. You got the red stripe. A buckle. Not really a buckle, but, simulate a buckle. She's got, like, 2 belts. It looks like a double-layered belt. Looks like she has some just, like, ninja stars there. Some shurikens, maybe. They're, like, how many is... That's not a normal shuriken, but... kind of looks like that. I don't know if that's what it's meant to be, but... Oh, she's got what the hell? She's got a little gun there. What the fuck? That's awesome. She just got, like, a little random gun there. I don't know if that's meant to be an actual gun or, like, just a detail there, but that's funny as fuck. That's so cool. She got this holster, which is more like a, like a quill type thing, like for your arrows. So we'll look at that in a second. And there's a holster there with just like a random thing. She's got a knife holster, random patches on her boots. Yeah, she's really cool. I like this figure a lot. So we'll take a look. And also, that face is just beautiful. This is a nice looking face. I feel like this is a face you can use for a Black Widow. You could use for Marvel Girl, aka Jean Grey. You can do that. I'm thinking it would be really cool to get an upgraded Scarlet Witch. So I've been thinking about that a lot lately. So this face could work for a Scarlet Witch. Honestly, it's pretty enough. So, I mean, the hair wouldn't work. So you probably would have to use this for a Marvel Girl or you can do Black Widow. Black Widow has tons of different hairstyles, but yeah, I'm just thinking I hope we get a new Scarlet Witch eventually. So, yeah. We got a new Quicksilver. Hopefully we get a new Scarlet Witch. So for articulation, the head, get a little bit up. Not really that much down. But you get pretty good tilt, I guess, for what it is. And then the arms, you get a butterfly joint, but it's not too big of one, so you're not going to get everything you want out of it, but you do get very good, like, rotation up in there. You got a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. Let's see if it'll actually go in all the way. Very stuck double jointed elbows. She's got an up and down trigger finger on this hand, and an up and down trigger finger on this hand, so cool. And for the torso, she gets nothing, really. What the hell? Maybe I need to loosen that up or something inside there, but she's not getting a lot forward, so very much Marvel Legends. I thought, Marvel Legends range is what I mean. I thought the Hasbro's teams could do better. Damn. That's sad. I need to buy a Dremel, because I want to start modding the figures that this is like that in. And she's got the articulation there. It's just the not being able to use the articulation that's provided. That's the issue. So, because it's not like a Marvel Legends female mold where they used to have it to where only up there was articulated and down there was kind of just solid. There's a double ball peg in there. Like there's one up in there and there's one down in there. So I guess we'll see. For articulation, the leg can really get most of the stuff you need it to because there's a drop down hip. So you get Spider-Man ass poses in there. You could even get a thigh swivel up there? Let me just check. Okay, you do. It's just really stuck. But honestly, there's more rotation on that ball. So, yeah, that's a really stuck thigh swivel, so I can't get that right now, but it is there. So just be careful. And then you have the double jointed knees. Can't quite get up there, but that's pretty good. You got a boot swivel. You got the hinge can go that far back. Pretty good amount forward for a Hasbro figure, sorry. When I think of Hasbro, I think of Marvel Legends, not G.I. Joe Classified, I know. But, yeah, so you get pretty good on there. So for a Hasbro, that's got good articulation down there. So it's really just the torso, as usual, with Marvel. With Hasbro. They kind of fumble on the torsos for a lot of female figures, so that sucks. And then, spoiler alert for the accessories, you get the same exact stand as Duke, but I'm going to put her on there so she doesn't fall. She might actually need the stand. So, for accessories, you get that hair piece, and then you get this one that's more like, whipping in the wind, so that's nice. You get this backpack, which is pretty nice. It has these pegs on the side, which I'm assuming are for the guns, so we'll look at the guns. You get this pretty cool, scoped AR, which is pretty cool. Looks very Fortnite-y, though, which I don't mind. And then this is the same exact infantry rifle as Duke, but it's got a different stock, which is cool. At least it's got a different feel to it. I actually prefer the stock on this one because it's number one, they match, and number two, it looks pretty. It looks like it actually matches, so it looks pretty cool. And then these pegs, I'm assuming you put them through the trigger, guard places, like that. And then you just stick them on her, and you can, we'll have to do that. Just kind of stick it on, I think. And there, yeah, okay. It's gonna have to come off. It's a little frustrating. Okay, well, at least the hair can kind of get out of the way. I'd say you just do that, right? Yeah, okay. It does go on, it's just the gun. Okay, and we'll get this one. Maybe it goes the other way. Maybe that's the issue. Or maybe I have them swap it. You get it. You get it. So this bag doesn't look as cool as Duke's, but it has more utility. So that's cool. And then you get a pair of fists just like Duke. So that's, it's fine. Not the most exciting thing, but fists are kind of a necessity. So you get the same. No, that's a different Glock. You get a handgun, very army-ish. I like the color. This almost feels like it would go better with Duke, so it might go with Duke, even though it's probably got a smaller hilt and stuff on it because it's for a female figure and they tend to do that. But yeah, that looks cool. And then you get a knife, which I like a lot. I like Duke's knife better, but this matches her and her color scheme, so it's nice. And then you just put that down in the holster, the sheath, whatever you want to call it. And then, last but not least, you get some arrows. So, you get this arrow. I think they're all the same besides one. This one's like a grappling, hook arrow. I dropped an arrow. God dang it. Okay, and you know what? After I dropped it, I've picked it up and found it. They're actually all different arrows. So, you got a grappling hook arrow. You got a more arrow. That one's also a pretty arrow. And that one's like a, like a piercing arrow. So I think you can just put them all in there like that. I don't know if they'll all fit in there necessarily. They might have their own, okay, so that one can go in there. Oh shit, well I bent it, so sorry about that. And then this one, maybe they're meant to go like this. Might be meant to go like that. I don't fucking know. I honestly don't know. I'm actually going to keep it like that though, so that's fine. And then arrow means a bow. This one doesn't come with a bow. She comes with her a bowcaster, or off-brand bowcaster. I think it's meant to go like that, but I like it like that, so. But yeah, I like it like that. It's just a crossbow, basically. But it's pretty cool. So, got a canister on the side and stuff. So, but I like that you could take it off and it just kind of becomes like a sidearm. So that's pretty cool. And then, all the guns fit in their hands very nicely. Sorry, so all the guns fit in their hands nicely. You just do a nice push and twist. Do that. And then you give her pretty, I feel like it's pretty iconic for this character. Like I said, I don't know the most about G.I. Joe, but I feel like as iconic as, I feel like Duke's shovel on his back is pretty iconic too, so I feel like they both have what's needed, I feel like. Except for, like I said, for Duke, an angry head sculpt would be nice, but I don't expect that much, since they already get so many weapons. I feel like I prefer having the weapons over the, an angry head accessory would be, so I don't feel too bad. So for size comparisons, we're going to get into it. I have a few here. First off, we have a bat. And this is I have it kind of destroyed. Sorry, there's cat hair on there. And then this is the Mezco Destro. And I feel like that works pretty well. I think he's going to look really good with Cobra Commander. So let's wait and see for that. So they look nice together. And then I have one of the Cobra, officers, Vipers or something. And yeah, he looks pretty cool. And then I have this Baron Zemo with my Cobra guys just because I feel like Zemo would work with Cobra. So that looks pretty cool. Now we're going to get into some of the Joe stuff. Hold on, let me get Zemo off to the side here. Okay. Now we're going to get to some more of the actual Joe stuff. Well, you could either way with Storm Shadow, but we have the not the Mezco, the Marvel, the Hasbro. Sorry, the Hasbro Storm Shadow. Oh my god. And then the Hasbro Snake Eyes. And Snake Eyes and Scarlett have their thing, so these two are definitely going to be together. So yeah, I kind of, I'm going to take this guy out real quick so I can put in the squad that I want together. The Mezco Roadblock. So yeah, I kind of have the squad that I want. I'm sure Storm Shadow's going to be in there with them because I like having a good guy Storm Shadow. But yeah, this guy wants to fall so badly. Sorry, but like, I kind of have the squad I want now. Besides CoverGirl, I feel like maybe a few others. You know, maybe Rakondo. I don't know. There's not that many that I feel like I need. But this is the main squad. I'm probably gonna get some supplementary characters, but this is like the main squad, I feel like. And then obviously I have the Mezco Timber. He's more big, more intimidating. He has different heads, so he looks awesome. So they all look really good together. So the only thing I wish somebody would give us is I don't remember its name, but Storm Shadow has like a tiger, I remember. At least one of the toys did, and my cousin had that for so long. They actually repurposed it for a Zabu Comic-Con exclusive, and I would really, really, really like to see that guy come back. So maybe eventually. And then this is the this is Mezco Wolverine. This is the Wolverine I've been using with the Joes because I just like to put them with the Joes. So. And then I have the Mezco Cyclops. This could work with the Joes. Since he's a smaller Cyclops, I don't feel like he works as well with my Marvel display, but he works pretty good with, you know, Joes are a little bit smaller, so that works pretty nicely. And then you got a couple Spider-Man characters. Since, you know, I have a Hasbro ones because these are Hasbro figures, so. But I want to also get in some imports. So I have the Amazing Yamaguchi Spider-Man 2.0. And I think he works just as good, if not a little bit better. I mean, the size is nice. The head size is pretty matchy to them. So, yeah, that looks great. And then next, I feel like this would work pretty well with the Joes. The MCU gives me G.I. Joe vibes sometimes. So here's the MCU Red Hulk from Captain America Brave New World. And then this is the Cap from, he's in that movie, but this is the comic book version of Sam Wilson Cap. And I feel like this works pretty well with G.I. Joe. I don't want to take him out of the pose, so I'm not gonna. But I will put a couple caps in there that aren't posed up so you can see. So I have regular Cap, and I put a vest on him because I was doing something, so, you know, don't mind that. And then the Bucky Cap I feel like works really well with G.I. Joe's. And I gave him the Sam Wilson shield because I don't like this shield, and Sam doesn't have a shield right now. This is the shield I was using with Sam, but I wanted to do some stuff where this Cap didn't have the power effect. Yeah, so yeah, they look pretty good. What else? Oh, we have the War Journal Punisher and the Hasbro, Agent Venom. So they all look pretty nice together. And then let's do a little Deadpool action up in this bitch. We'll get Hasbro Deadpool, and he has a Valaverse SMG and the Mezco Roadblock sentry turret gun. And then here's the Hasbro Marvel Legends Silk from the Dr. Octopus and Silk 2-pack. So they all look pretty good. Cammy. This is the Jada Toys Cammy from Street Fighter, and she looks awesome, so I wanted to put her in there. And here's the SH Figure Art Zorro. This is the pose I have him in right now. I don't want to really unpose him. Not that I'm very proud of this pose or anything. I just don't want to. I don't want to do that on camera right now. So yeah. I feel like that's everything I need to. I guess I could throw in the Mattel Raptor, Velociraptor. That could look pretty cool. You could do some G.I. Joe Velociraptor stuff, I guess, if you really wanted to. And yeah, I think that's everything, really, that I need to show with these guys. So, this is a bit of a longer video. I'm sorry. It's just 2 Hasbro figures, but these are pretty cool Hasbro figures. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone, and bye. See you around. Well, okay. Let's do this. Before that, let's get a couple more female figures in here because we have Scarlett, so I want to see what she looks like with her. I feel like I'm more standard. I already did the Silk, but let's just do this. Here's 2 other kind of standard Hasbro figures. This is kind of modded Rogue because I wanted to make my own Rogue. And this is Jules from Fortnite. So Jules will probably go with the Joes, honestly. And then Rogue is just, I just have her because she's fun to pose. I did not like this figure at first, but she really grew on me. Added some white hands just to differentiate her, and these from Black Widow to make her a little bit cooler. And then I put the Avengers jacket on her because I think that looks really cool. So yeah. Now we will be done with size comparisons. So yeah, everyone, thanks for watching the video, and make sure you like it and subscribe, comment, let me know, do all the YouTube stuff. Let me know if there's any other figures you think I should review. I'm thinking next week I'm going to try to either get the Maximum Spidey or the new Venom. So the new Venom's out from the Marvel Spider-Man video game, and I really like the first game. We'll get into my thoughts on that game if I end up buying that figure. So I will say I hope they do a Lizard from that game. That would be spectacular, and I think the better choice. I mean, Venom's the more popular one, and he's the more in the story, but that Lizard was so unique and cool. I think that would be the better action figure choice. So we'll get into that if I get the figure. Bye, everyone. Have a good day.